Hello everybody, welcome back to my stream. Oh, that's a little loud. All right, so let's continue on with what we were working on. For those of you that are new, my stream is about SharePoint development. And so what I'm going to be working on is my provisioning assets part of my Webpart. Yep, so let's get started. What was he gonna do? There was something I was gonna do to start, but I can't think of what I was gonna do. Shoot. Oh yeah, I remember now. Oh yeah, let me switch my audio real quick. Oh shit. Bear with me a moment. All right, sorry about that. So I've been noticing that there's a lot of questions in SharePoint developers and administrators Facebook group, and I wanted to see if I could look at some of those. And see if we can answer any of them. Let me see if there's any way I can share my window. All right, here we go. So here in the SharePoint developers group, there's some questions that I often see. Okay, how do I find out if every document that has been shares with particular staff member within a SharePoint library? We need to remove access to all documents when someone leaves. Yeah, that's correct. If their account has been disabled, then they shouldn't be able to access anymore. But that is a good question, because it says, you know, they went within the same same company. So if they're within the same company and you want to completely eliminate them from the entire SharePoint site, then the best thing you can do is remove them from the zero group. So I'm gonna put in here answered questions live on my Twitch stream. And I think, let me copy this. To remove the user from the zero group, which will remove them from the entire site collection. And this applies to both Teams and SharePoint sites. So basically the way it works is, let's just say, for instance, I have a user in let's add him to my friend's site. I have a site that I created for a friend called Raj Training. So let's just say I know that I have, let's go to site permissions real quick. Go to advanced site permissions. Okay. So here, if I go to check permissions, let's say, I think I have a user called Wilbur, because they always put some default names whenever you create an account. Yeah, here we go, Alex Wilbur. So you can see that this user has no permissions at all. Okay. So if through the course of time, you know, you go to site contents and I have given Mr. Wilbur access to a specific document. Let's load a dummy document in here. Let's upload a file. How about a new file? I never have, like, just, there we go. Let's create a new text document. And we're gonna call it test. And testing. And we save it and close it. All right, so now this one, we go ahead and upload it. And now I've given Alex access. I'm gonna give him access by sharing the document. So if I share the document, let's go to share. Alex Wilbur, and I'm going to give him edit access. Okay. Okay, so now Alex has been granted access. Let's go back and check his effective permissions. So we go to Alex. He has been given limited access directly. So now obviously, when you work in a company, you're gonna give somebody access to libraries individually, documents individually. You know, they were part of your team. You wanted to share stuff within the site collection with them. And when you go and check the permissions, it might tell you like a whole bunch of groups that you've given them access to, you know, a whole bunch of places where this person could have been added. And you don't necessarily want to have to go through all the you don't want to necessarily go through every single group and every single little nook and cranny where you may have added them. So if you want to remove them entirely from your site collection without having to hunt down what groups, what areas you granted this person permission, the easiest way to do this is to delete them from the zero group. Now you may ask, what do you mean by zero group? Well, when I click on owners, if we look closely at the URL, in the URL, there's going to be membership group ID, which as you can see here, the membership group ID is 3 for this one. So all we do is we change the ID to 0. And this is going to be all the people that are in your site collection. And so if you don't want to hunt down where they're at anywhere on the site, you don't want to remove them individually through the groups, then my recommendation to you is go into the zero group and remove them. You can click on their name and delete them from the entire site collection. This is going to remove them from everything. The entire site collection will be inaccessible to them. Okay? And you can see the message. It says, you're about to delete the following user from the site collection. This user will be deleted and will not have access to any site within the site collection. So it even cascades down to all of the site collections. There are site collections within this. If there's a site, a SharePoint site within the site collection, it's going to remove them from there as well. Because you're removing them from the entire umbrella. Like think of this as a nuclear option. You're removing them completely. Okay. So this is going to be the fastest way to remove a user from the, from the SharePoint site. There's a question, if you recall, it says, how do I find out every document that has been shared with a particular staff member within a SharePoint library? We need to remove access to all documents when someone leaves. Sometimes they have been sent a direct link, which you saw that I sent a direct link. And so this is going to remove them completely. Regardless if you just shared a link, as you saw, I shared a link and it shared it with Alex. But by removing him from the zero group, I saved myself a lot of time, not having to hunt down every little location that the user could have been at. I have avoided that altogether. Okay. Let's see what other questions. That one's an easy one. It says Microsoft Forms, save the SharePoint question. So here, move the form to a group instead. So this one's asking about Microsoft Forms. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really mess a lot with Microsoft Forms. If you want to create a form, the easiest way is probably just to use Power Automate, or Power Apps rather. If you're not very good with code, obviously. All right. The next one, I have a MS list and just want to check if I can create a custom view and share it with end users. Will they see it as such? Because I have 6 different locations and didn't want users to get frustrated with the filtering every time when they access the list. So each view is going to have their own URL, so you can definitely share a different URL. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. Let's test it out. I think that when you add a list view, let's double check. So if I go to, let's just say the FAQ page here, and I add a, let's just say I use a list. And let's just say lures is the list that I want to share. So there's my list. I'm curious. I guess it doesn't. It doesn't have. So I was trying to see if there was maybe like a like an audiencing scenario. Basically have a scene where based on like I could put a rule that says, hey, if such and such group has logged in, they get to see this view and not any other specific view. But it doesn't appear to have one. And then obviously creating pages would be a pain to have to create a bunch of let's see. Yeah, so this is not optimal, unfortunately. I thought that you could get away with doing something like that, but it's not gonna work. So each view has a specific URL, correct? Unfortunately, Microsoft can kind of mask that in recent years. We can still get the URL. In create views, apply the me filter, which allows you to see. Correct. This is probably going to be the closest thing. You can actually create with any people picker. You can add the me filter. And basically that'll filter to me. So created by, you could filter created by to me, and it'll only show what I created. Add each of your location views to a separate site page. This is pointless because technically the view already has a link. This would be very pointless. We have a department with announcement list in the communications site. Many, but not all, have attachments. With most PDF files, typically they have only one attachment per announcement. They're asking for a way for visitors to the site to open attachments from the list in a gallery without opening the item form. I found anything that works to open attachments. Let's see. That's what you want to use Power Automate as. You may want to advise them actually use a document I've written attachments. may want to advise them to actually use so he said I did consider that, but not all announcements will have attachments. Maybe I don't understand, but surely you don't show anything if there's no document link. Maybe describe the design or requirement. It's a list of announcements. These might be this deadline is approaching, or this professor is speaking at this event, or any number of other news type events. In some cases, they will have a file, sometimes an image, sometimes a PDF, which is related in some way to the announcement. To put it in context, this is the academic department that at one point wanted their website to simply be the list linking to the PDF. So let's test what they're talking about. So in here, let me go back to my machine. All right, so here he's saying that, give me a second, my dog's barking, she needs to go outside. I'll be right back. All right, back. Sorry about that. All right. So what he's saying is he created a new list. Give me 1 second. I don't think they have that anymore where you create an announcement list. But let's find out if maybe there's one under here now. Department. Gosh, they have a lot of templates. Let's just create a list. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's all technically still a list. Let's call it announcements. I misspelled it, didn't I? Yep, I sure did. Doesn't matter. It's just for testing. So the question is, how can I view the attachment within a list item without necessarily revealing the list item, like without them being able to see it? That's what the question is on Facebook. So I'm gonna add an item, which, you know, new speaker today, and we're gonna add an attachment. This is how, you know, somebody would add an announcement per se. So here's the list item, which technically would be the announcement, and they're asking the question. Let's go back to the question. They're saying, how can I show the attachment from the list or gallery view without opening the form? Okay, they don't want to have them be able to open the form. They just want to be able to have them be able to get the attachment without opening the form for the announcement. So let's find out how that can be done. So you can see that the test text is in attachments 1, test text. All right, so let's just, out of curiosity, let's add an image. Let's add this image, for example. Okay, and now if I open the image, you can see it puts everything under 1, because if I had to guess, 1 is the ID of the item which is the item of the item of the list ID. What I mean by that is, so let's put the ID here. You can see it's 1, right? Let me put on here that I'm answering the question. Yeah, answer your question live on my Twitch stream. All right, sorry, I guess I wasn't sharing my virtual machine. Going back to my virtual machine. So we added our item, and then if you notice that when I click on the item and I open any of the attachments, say I open this color FAQ, it's gonna put attachments 1, and then color FAQ, and then if I open the test text, it's gonna be attachments 1. Okay, and then let's just add another one. Let's add another announcement. Helping talk about helping users from Facebook on stream, and then we're gonna add an attachment here. Let's add the question man here. So right now this is ID 2, and look what's gonna happen. You see that? Attachments, and then 2, and then the name of the attachment. So now the question becomes, how can I get this URL so that I can technically share the announcement and share the URL? Well, you can already see where I'm headed. You can dynamically create this URL using JSON, because the only thing that's changing is the number. So the URL is always going to be the same. The only thing that changes is this metric, which is the ID of the item and then the name of the attachment. So you see, we can share it, or have them have the ability to only open the attachment without necessarily opening the list item. So how do we do that? Well, I know that you can use JSON, so you can technically say add a column. Now the question should be, let's create a view here first. Let's add a view, and we're gonna call it attachment, list attachment links. Okay. Okay, so now I'm in the link attachments, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that they can click on the title and be able to see the attachment. Obviously, we have to find out if the item has an attachment or not. Let's close all these, and then we have to find out if let's go back to here, and we're gonna add a column. I think the way you do this is you're going to create a calculated column. So we're going to create a column, and it's going to be a calculated column, and let's call it attachment, or let's just say attachment. Where's my calculated? All right. Calculate it. I think you can even just do an empty brackets, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so now we have our empty calculated column. If it ever creates it. I don't know why things are running so slow. Great, so it doesn't support that. Let's just leave it as title. Okay. All right. So now we go back to announcements. We have a column called attachment link. All right. So now we're gonna modify that. So here there is a way to format this column, and we can do advanced mode. And so advanced mode lets us actually create a JSON that allows us to see something else. So we're going to use Gemini. I'm going to use AI here for so the first thing we're going to do is let's go to AI mode. And when updating a list column with JSON, can I find out if the list item has an attachment? Attachment by, God, I cannot spell today, by checking the field that all lists have. There is a Boolean to indicate that it has an attachment. Yes, you can check. Perfect. So let's test this text. All right. So we're gonna go back here and put it in this format. So that way it tells me that, yep, there we go. So here's a JSON, okay? So if we go back, what happened? Oh, I know what happened. So let's close this and let's go here. All right. So let's paste it in here. Preview, and you can see that it has attachment. So that obviously tells us, hey, if it has an attachment, then we should be able to have the make it a clickable link. So and so let's go ahead and work on that. So we know that we're in the list. So now let's explain to AI. So in AI, so now that I know that it has an attachment, then I now want to make a clickable link to that attachment if it is available. If there is no attachment, keep the text no attachment. Now the link, I have noticed, just change based on the ID of the item and the name of the attachment. So we have that, and then we have this one, So like this is another one, and you can definitely see, we can see that the URL can be dynamically changed. Now, next thing would be to update the JSON to dynamically show a link to open the attachment directly. And the JSON, I know that JSON can get the ID, but the question is, can it get the name of the attachment? Get the name of the attachment. I know it can get the ID, but was not sure on the attachment name. Is it feasible? Make a clickable link work. You must store the file name in a separate single line of text. Well, that's a good idea. So we can even do that, and you can do something like I wonder if you can use a single line of text with the file name. You can build the dynamic URL. I have not attachments. Keep attachments, ID, and file name. So you could technically, I mean, obviously, again, we're MacGyvering this thing to no end, but we can do it. I don't think you would be able to use a calculated column, but let's try. Let's go to list settings. Create column. Let's find out. So calculate it. File name. Yeah, it's not gonna find it. I figured you couldn't do that. So we're gonna cancel that. So you're gonna create a single line of text called file name. Okay. All right, so now file name is there, and that you can create like a Power Automate that will automatically generate this file name. So let's just say that you've created the Power Automate. It's going to update the name of the file that was added. And you can do that. But let's just say for the sake of argument that we have colorfaq.jpg. And then the next one is going to be questionman.jpg. Let's just say, again, you created the Power Automate. The Power Automate, when they add an attachment, it automatically creates a file name here. So now, we can go to column settings, format this column, advanced mode, and let's highlight this JSON. has no attachment. Let me clear this out. It was working a second ago. It just says no attachment. Why? When they do have attachments. Column settings. Format this column. Let's go look at the JSON this thing provided. Because the original JSON, which was this, why is it saying no attachment when they clearly have an attachment? If we go to attachments, so you have to have attachments visible for it to see it. Okay, so you can even make it to where it only shows it if it has an attachment. I'll work on that next. But anyway, that being said, let's format this column. Look at that. So now if I close it, I wonder if I have to have this here. Let me find out. Do I have to have? Oh, you do have to have it. Because then it's just gonna show me. Oh, that sucks. But, I wonder if I put a file name here, but I change this one. Let's get rid of the text here. Copy this again. See, that works. So you could technically create a column that's going to have the file name. So don't you can use any column, because the column is basically going to just be there for dummy purposes. It's not legitimately doing anything per se. So now using JSON, we were able to create the ability to open the attachment from this link. Let's change this. Oh, never mind. So now if I click on open attachment, look at that. It opens the attachment. If I click on open attachment, it opens the attachment there. And if I add another item, let's just add new item for testing. That's the attachment. Let's just add screenshot. Doesn't matter. What do we have here? It's say we're gonna open some code. Why not? Save it. Error uploading. Oh, you can just say screenshot. Delete. Add an attachment. Let's add this one, but first let's rename it. Rename. All right. Open. And this is, I think, a PNG. Yeah, PNG. And again, I mean, you're gonna have something. It's because of the name. It has those dashes. Delete. Let's get rid of all these dashes. Let's just call it screenshot PNG. And we're gonna rename it. All right. Save it. What? Encountering issue when deleting attachment. Specify was out of range. What in the world? Did it even create the item? Oh, look at that. It did create the items. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But anyway. It's going to be a 404 because these didn't work. Let's delete them. So add a new item. Stream testing. File name is going to be screenshot PNG. We're going to rename this to just screenshot. So it looks like I already have, there we go, this one. Save it. It saved it, but I don't see it. That's lame. Anyway, so if I open attachment, and we don't use this one anymore, so we can hide this one. We can get rid of that one. All right, so obviously it has an attachment. So now I should be able to click on the link and be able to open it. And sure enough, I can. So yeah, let's open, let's say I have a printer. Let's see, I have a printer support. And let's see if we can have a PDF or something. Let's get support. Drivers, printer, pick any of them, it doesn't matter. Then there should be like a, I'm trying to find a PDF I can download. Jeez, it shouldn't be that hard. Usually they're pretty good about having like some kind of manual or something. Let's just print this to PDF. Yeah, Microsoft Print to PDF. Print. We're gonna call it Printer Manual. Put it in Downloads. All right, so now let's just say we add a new item. Printer TED Talk. This is the announcement. And we're gonna add printer manual. And you can even copy it from, what can you? Printer manual. And it should really test what's gonna happen if there's space in the name. If I had to guess, it'll hopefully, yep. Look at that. Bam. There's your document. So the answer is yeah, you can do that. Hopefully that helps. I didn't get your name there. If you watch this later, Chad, I hope that helps. you can open an attachment without opening the list form. Chad from Facebook. Hopefully that helps, buddy. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh. Pressing the space bar. This one's like a fun one, but that one's gonna take time. Give me a code HTML.js to paste into script editor to create a people picker without a fail. And I'm not about to do that, but what I would recommend is there is PNP version 1. I think you probably find it PNP version 1. PNP version 1. Let's here we go. So you would go to PNP version 1 and minified. Okay. On PNP JS version 1 minified. I may have a version of it. Let's see, PNP JS. And these are all version 1. Ajax, let's PNP JS 1. But are any of these min? Bundle min. Let's copy this. Yeah, this would be what you need. So you could take this PNP version and you can actually write vanilla JavaScript using minified PNP version 1. So that's what I would tell our friend there on Facebook that he could do. He could go into creating that using PNP. But I think that's all the questions I'm going to answer from SharePoint Facebook today. Let's work on our usual stuff now that we've done our good deed for today. I hope that helps, Chad. If you happen to see this on YouTube, I know it's been a bit, so. All right, so now going back to what I was doing, let's delete this list. You don't need it anymore. All right. Delete this. Delete this. Contents. I'm still wondering why. When I go to, let's go to Raj training. Check pages. Looks like I ran out of battery on my camera. Let me all right, back. Sorry about that. The issue I was having is that my camera battery died. We were having too much fun and my battery died. But anyway, I was trying to find out why even though I got rid of FAQ Webpart from the app catalog, cleaned a lot of these up too, but for some reason, when I go to any site, and let's create a new page. Let's call this FAQ. Right, here's our FAQ Webpart page. Come on. Edit. Make this plain. Delete this. It's still here. That should not be there. Obviously it's gonna break. I don't want it to show up, but for some reason it's still showing up. Webpart still showing up after Let me specify that this is an SPFx. So it says to check both recycle bins. So let's go look at the recycle bin. Here's the recycle bin, which is the admin. I got rid of a lot of these because I'm not working on those anymore. And then let's just go to the basic recycle bin. Get rid of the view. And you can see it's empty. Apps for SharePoint. And then go back. Go to application, clear site data. There we go. Edit the page. And it's still there. God, that is annoying. It's right here. I guess we can wing it and see. Let's just wing it. All right, so this. Open a new terminal. Let's run. Have to clean. Build. Nope. Nope. Don't touch that. Okay, so waiting for the build to happen. All right, I was getting after my puppy. She's trying to go through my stuff. We're gonna build it and then we're gonna run have packet solution. Okay. So we go up to the package. There it is. Okay. Now we go here to the solution. We drop it in here. You can see that I put app version 2. We did this last night in hopes that this works. Mapped part. The page. It's hard to tell which one is which. So it looks like it's the second one. Either one works. That's what's really bizarre. And so we were having issues with the provisioning assets part of this. So I know that there's a way. I thought the issue was that I was having a problem with provisioning assets API. So let's retrace the steps here. So it gets the SP object, it gets all of the fields for the specific list that we're working on. Let's test it. Now let's inspect this. Go to sources. So when I click on provisioning assets, it goes through and creates the list. Okay, so provisioning assets runs this function. It goes through the list schema using the for of, and it checks if the list exists. If it does not exist, it creates the list. Then it goes through and creates the columns. So it goes through the first list. Let's go look at the document that's providing this to this, which is this right here. So the list is an array. So first it goes through FAQ topic and FAQ list. Obviously FAQ topic says no fields. So it goes through, creates the first list. It skips this because there is no fields. So then it goes to the second list, which is the FAQ list. This one does have fields. It has a note and a lookup. It creates the answer, but then it fails in the lookup. And so we need to figure out why. So when it goes into the fields, it goes into ensure field exists. And it passes the list name and the field object. So obviously the first one's gonna be the field object for answer. The second one is going to be for parent ID. So then it goes and it gets the list name, which is obviously FAQ list. Okay, so then it looks at that list. It looks at that list and then it says, okay, checks if the field exists. Fields.filter. So we're getting the fields for the list. It does not exist in the list. So if it does not exist, it gets the list by title, which is list name. Why did I put list name here? Object list ID. That's where the error is happening. Let's go check something real quick. I'm gonna have duplicate this. And let's inspect this. And let's go to SharePoint. Let's go to the console. And let's retrieve all the fields for the site. So it has 531 fields. Nice. Out of those 531 fields, we want to find out how many were created by the user. So I hate that this doesn't have that because it's supposed to have it. Because can I create an interface? Let's create a type. What is this called? iField info. Okay, so I can create a type. Let's go back to my code. Field info from, let's try to see if I can import this. There we go. And then this user fields is going to be of this type. Hmm. Why is it? Because right now, the problem that I have in the code is that the fields are being retrieved by the title of the list, and that's not exactly what I want to do. To be quite honest, I don't want to do it that way. And I just wanted to see. Not assignable to iPad custom info. This is so annoying because here's the problem. You can clearly see that can be deleted is there. Not a problem. Let's get rid of it. There's ways. So 367 fields. Okay. So now here, we're gonna set as a global variable and let new array equals temp1.filter and x dot can be deleted. Get rid of that. Okay. Can be deleted is not equal to true. This is gonna break. Undefined. What am I missing? Oh, let's try seeing new array. Oh, 143. I brought down 367 to 143. Bear with me just a moment. My dog's chewing on something. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, let's change the code. So we get the SP object. We're going to check if the field is set up as a field, as a site field. So to do that, on site fields, I field custom, I field custom info. Oh boy. This is a type. Equals. Await. e.web.fields. On user site fields is equal to site fields dot filter would be the field is not hidden and it can be deleted as false. Okay. So now that we have gotten all the fields for the user fields, we're going to create the field. To create the field, actually we have to find out if the field exists. Okay, if actually a field const site field exists is going to be a boolean, and basically we're going to do user site fields dot sum. We're just going to copy this. Okay, let's separate here. All right, so in the ensure field exists, we're first going to check if it's part of the site fields. These are your site fields. We're going to filter them down to find out if the hidden true can be deleted is false, is not equal to false. And then this is going to return our fields array, and then we're going to check if the field exists. If the field does not exist on the site, then we're going to go ahead and create it first at the site level. Then once it's created at the site level, we're going to go ahead and proceed and create it at the list level. All right. So first we're going to do create field XML using field XML function. Okay. Then we're going to create the field. Create the field at the site level using XML. Now we create the field at list level. Because if it doesn't exist at the site level, it's pretty obvious that it's not going to exist at the list level. We need to find out first if field let's see, find out first if the field is a lookup. Check if field is a lookup to set the list ID. All right. So basically, we need the list ID. So we're gonna have to get the field, the list ID. So get the parent lookup. No, get the lookup parent list. And so that is gonna be const parent list. Wait, sp dot web dot list dot get by title, and the title is gonna be the field object dot list ID. Yeah, because remember, right here it's gonna be the list ID, which is gonna be the name. Okay, and I put this here because obviously TypeScript was saying, wait a minute, this is potentially undefined. So we have to make sure that it's not undefined. Let's just test what we get when we get the list. We can get rid of this. Get rid of that type. It didn't help us anyway. Wait, sp.web.list title. And the title is gonna be FAQ topics. What is the problem? Oh, the FAQ topics list does not exist. It doesn't matter. Let's get another one. Let's go to site contents. Come on. Let's go to events. Get events. And here's our data. And what we're looking for is the ID, which is this right here. So if we go to list settings, the ID is AFD. AFD, you can see it right here. And it ends with Delta Echo. Delta Echo it is. Cool. And now we know that that's the object that it's going to retrieve. Okay, so we're going to get the list. All right. Now that we have the list, we can put the parent list.id. Because we created the field at the site level, now we're going to create it at the list level. And the list name is going to be the one we provided up here. But we're going to add the cascade and the parent ID. What else did we do? The else statement is just basically going to get the list name and create field by XML. And then return true. Wait, we don't return it there. All right. Yields. is this? So we get the SB object, we get the site fields, we get the user site fields. Why did I get fields? But I don't need that. All right, let's go through it again. We get the SP object, we get all the site fields, we find the user fields, we find if it exists or not. If it does not exist, create the field at the root level. Create field at site level. Then we create the field XML using the create field XML function. We go to the root web and we add the field to the root web. I wonder. Oh wait, oops. Oh wait. What does that do? I guess you can't do it that way. I was just curious what this does. Oh, look, you can do a create field as XML at the web level. But we don't want to do it at the web level because this could be in a subsite. We want to create it at the root level, which would be the site collection. So we're gonna do a try catch. Actually, get rid of that. Let's make the try catch way up here. After we get the after we get the SP object, let's add a try catch. And then we're gonna do all this stuff. Okay. Error. Creating. Error creating field. And then we have another catch over here. What? Why do we have two try? We don't need two try catches. We don't need this external one here. All right, so let's run it one more time. We get the SP object, we check the site fields. If it does not exist in the site fields, then we go ahead and add it to the site fields. What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? What if it does exist in the site fields though? And we just deleted the list, for example. Let's try this change. Let's see what this did. We'll go to sources. Check if the field is set up as a side field. Let's clear our network. Refresh it one more time for good measure. And let's clear the cache and refresh it one more time. You can clear all this stuff up. Yes, it's working. So that was it. That was the provisioning. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now if we edit the web part, let me close this. Why did it? Oh, why is it showing up this way? There we go. It was showing up that way because, which I need to fix. If you don't have the page in edit mode, it doesn't update the side panel. If it doesn't update the side panel, it never says it's been configured before. And that's why we had that issue. But now we can click on configure and voila, here's our web part. So if you remember, I don't want to lose anybody, but if you remember in our web part, if we go to our web part TS, we had created a field. Actually, it's under strings. We had a field called, it's under, actually, let's just go to provisioning. A provisioning, after the ensure fields happens, right here. So it goes to provisioning, then it toggles provision. Toggle provisioned is a function that comes from the Webpart file right here. Toggle provisioned. So here is a function called toggle provision. So you can see toggle provisioned is a function that sets the properties is provisioned to true, refreshes the property pane, and then renders the web part again. And so now, because it's been configured, we can now see it. So now if we close this, we go to contents. Here's our list. You can see that we have our topics list and we have our FAQ list. If I go to settings, look at that. Here's my lookup, and it should have cascade delete enabled. Okay, cascade delete. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to happen. And now this web part is ready to be put anywhere. I could go to any site, drop this web part, and now I can manage things. So topic could be SPFx. There's my topic. Add it to my topics that have been added. Now we go to Q&A. There's no questions in SPFx. How to update SPFx to new app setup. Jeez, I can't type today. It's this keyboard. I'm really having a hard time working with this keyboard, honestly. So if I go in here, I'm going to copy this, put it as the answer, submit. Here's my question. If I go to preview, you can see it. So when I click on save configuration, oh, I need to work on that because it's not giving me any kind of feedback. It's another bug I need to fix. Still several things that need to be fixed. Topics, questions, preview, save configuration. Yeah, it's not working. But we made some progress today. I went ahead and fixed the issues with I went ahead and fixed the issues with provisioning, because now I can take this anywhere. So if I go to training and I create a new web part here, let's go. So you can see site contents. This is a different site. I don't have anything that has to do with that list anymore. I go to training. I create a new page. And you can see it's a different site because this is Rod's training and this is training. And here we're going to add our FAQ web part. This one's really giving me trouble. I don't know why this one's giving me problems. On this one, it's loading fine. However, on this one, it's not. I don't know why that's happening. And it just says error. I don't know. This is weird. Let's try it again. Let's go to console. Could not up. I think there's an issue with this site, which I'm gonna go ahead and delete this site because I don't really see. I'm trying to think of what other site I can demo. Oh, we can just use the point task site. I'll delete it later, but right now let's just go to point task. And let's go to edit here. Because there might be just an issue with theirs. So earlier in my development, I did this where I put the Webpart. Yeah, it's the site. I don't know if you recall, but I tried to do the provisioning of the assets the other way using XML. And I had a lot of problems with that. So I'm thinking the remnants of that's still in that site. And that's why you still see 2 FAQ web parts. But here in point task, if I duplicate this page and I go to, let's go to site contents here. So here point task, you can see there's no questions. So if I provision the assets here, I go to, there's my FAQ list and FAQ topics. And now I can configure my web part. Look at that. And it's working. Everything's provisioned. My lists are there. My columns are there. I go to site settings. You'll see that my columns are here. So yeah. But that's it for me tonight. I actually streamed a little bit longer than I usually do. I think we're going on 2 hours, but thanks for streaming with me, or coding with me rather. Jeez, must be tired. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.